Good evening, everybody. Good evening. Welcome to Love and Enlightenment as we go live.
Evening blessings and salutations.
Good night, everybody. From St. Martin. Your boy Ranchi back on top of it again.
Good night, everyone.
Good night, everyone.
We just want to let everybody know tonight our discussion is a Q&A with some millennials to get their take on some topics. And we definitely would like to thank them for deciding to come on. And this will be part one, and we're going to have a part two to this as well. So I would like to introduce Kiora. Kiora is in St. Croix, and this is her first time on with us. It doesn't mean it's going to be her last. And we also have one of our return members, Ranchi. I won't call him by his government name. I'll behave tonight.
Thank you.
So again, thank you guys. And just to kind of start, you want us to just give us a little introduction as to who you are, what you do, your age group, before we start this Q&A.
So I'm Kiora. I am an environmental scientist, specialist, or manager, I should say now, environmental manager. I'm 27, so I'm a millennial. And I will be graduating with my master's at the end of summer.
Congrats.
Congratulations, girl.
Congrats. Also, are you single,
I am.
married, single? And do you have any kids?
I do. I have one son.
Very nice. Okay. And how about you? Because I don't really think we did a full introduction the last time you were on, Ranchi.
I didn't think it was necessary.
Why?
Yeah, but I will go try a thing now.
Okay.
Good night, everybody. Ranchi, the name. We ain't going government. The name is Ranchi. I'm a port security officer / photographer. And I don't know, daytime, nighttime, whenever they want me. And yeah, I'm a single guy. I got 3 kids. Yeah, superstition is real. And yeah, let's kick it off, guys.
And do you want to say your age or your age group?
Okay, my age group, I would say is I'm an 80s baby. 80s, 88, give it up. Whoop, whoop. And yeah, 33. I'm 33.
Okay. Well, do any of you two, Trina or Louis, want to start off with a question?
Let's get those questions.
Okay, I'll start off with the first one.
Sure.
Okay. My first question is, when you hear the word love, when it comes to a romantic relationship, what does it say to you, mean to you? How does it show up? However you want to describe it. What do you think of the word love?
I mean, you can always go first, Ranchi.
No, it's okay.
You
It's
don't
okay.
always have to be ladies first. It doesn't always.
I know, but I feel so great that you're taking the lead on this. So
When you love somebody, I feel like it means you accept the person that they are, even if they are different than you, and you guys, have your differences. You accept them and all of their differences, and it's kind of like an unconditional feeling. Like you love this person regardless of everything they have going on. Like you want to be around this person. This person makes you happy outside of everything else that you guys may not see eye to eye on. I think that's when you really love somebody.
Okay. And how about you, Mr. Ranchi?
Oh, love, 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 love. I don't know how to explain love because that's a really ticklish word. I would say though it's two people that have committed into no. Should I go that way? I would follow like what Kira said there. Like two people that have loved each other, open up to each other, accept each other, willing to walk the line or the road, the dark path. I don't know how to put it, but love is a funny thing. I don't know. You're like it's so broad. It's like it's too big. Just
Okay,
put, like,
so if you meet someone and you are pursuing this person, talking to this person, dating this person, and you get to that point where you feel like you're comfortable saying you love that person, what showed up for you to make you say I love you?
what showed up to me would be that this person has hit, let's say, a good 80% of the boxes that you check off when you date somebody. So this is somebody you're fully comfortable with, that you're able to express yourself with, and they could relate to you on many different levels, and you guys could laugh together, cry together. You know, you could actually open up. There's no walls, no barriers anymore. You know, you draw that down because you're in love with this person, and you want to share everything that you have to share with this person.
Can I add something to what he said?
Yeah, man, jump in.
About the whole opening up thing? I think that's also very important. If you feel like this person is somebody that you could tell anything to and it's like a judgment free zone, like you don't have the fear of being judged by this person, I think that's another sign that that's real love.
Good. And I'm asking these questions just to see, kind of to see like love for somebody who's 20 or 30, if there's a difference for someone who's 40, 50 and above.
I'll tell you
So
that.
Louis, answer the question. Why is love,
Louis,
Louis?
you should jump in.
Kiki, why don't you run with that? You go ahead. You run with that.
Me not in a running mood right now. I said
Neither am
since
I.
you not in a running mood, you run with it.
Neither am I, but I do have a question I do want to ask though.
No, answer the question. She wants to know if it's the same for 40 and 50-year-olds. Like,
How about perspective? It's all about perspective, in my opinion, honestly. You go through things in life, you know, clearly at 27, I was on a different mindset. Now at my age, just to put that like there, I ain't gonna say no number. At my age, it's about perspective. I mean, emotions play most definitely a role. Love is love, however you put it. It's you know, you have an attachment to someone, an affinity towards someone. Clearly, it's about sort of a mutual and an organic meshing of souls, I guess, to say, for lack of better terms, in my opinion. I wasn't thinking that at 27. It's different now. So, yeah, that's my opinion on that.
Okay. How about you, Trina?
I didn't know I had to answer.
I had something like you. Kidding me?
See the trap?
It differs for everybody, I would assume. I don't know.
Right.
The Bible says love is good, it's kind, it's a lot of things. So I will go with the Bible version of love.
Which is?
Love is good, it's kind, it's forgiving, it's trusting, it's all those good things. It don't have to occur within the romantic relationship. I mean, that's a different relationship. It needs to occur there, of course, but that's just love for people in general, you know, for your family, for your children, you know.
I think in this case, I think it's about a significant person that you. Am I right, Debbie? It's about loving, Be with
Right.
a companion. I think that's
Well,
what.
I won't have much answers on
Difference.
that one. I don't have much answers on that. Then I can't help I with that one. So I'm gonna just sit here.
Okay. Okay.
Okay. I see someone asked about, and that's one of the questions that we were going to discuss as well, is what does self-love look like?
Ooh.
Yes, CC asked that question.
Okay, and that was actually one of the questions we were going to ask.
Well,
So
I
go
will.
ahead, Trina.
Yeah. You want me to start?
Of
Yeah, go
course.
ahead.
Oh, Kiara usually is frazzled, but then let me prepare this week. So I don't know what's going on. Anyway, self love is self awareness. It's looking at yourself, looking at the things that means what it means to you in taking care of yourself, nurturing yourself, um, listening to yourself, getting to know yourself. Um, that's it.
Okay. Okay. And how about you, Ranchi? When you hear self-love, um, what does that mean to you?
Oh,
Self-love and self-awareness.
how do I go the same road with Pinky, where is how you love yourself, not yourself, find out about yourself, learn about yourself, see what truly makes you happy, what you really would dislike, what you're able to accept, when you're able to accept. Because you have to love yourself before you're able to have someone love you or be able to put out that love for someone. So definitely, it's really truly building a bond with who you are without the lies and this disguise. I think we en masse, what do they call it, sugarcoat ourselves when we get into a relationship and meeting people. You always hide certain parts of yourself, or you withhold certain parts of yourself because you don't want that person to dislike you now or leave you go because of your mindset and the way you feel about certain things. So I guess, yeah, you have to love yourself in the way you want.
Okay.
In my opinion, that's what it is.
Well, everything at the end of the day is each person's opinion, and how they show up and what they believe. So, it's going to be different. We're all different people, so it's going to be different for everybody. How about you, Kiora? When you hear about self-love or self-awareness, what comes to mind?
Well, I think Miss Pinky and Ranchi definitely touched on it, but definitely understanding the type of person you are and what you like to do, and even your flaws or things that are not perfect about you, understanding where those root from, and your issues or demons, or how people like to call them, like truly understanding that and learning how to change or accept those parts of you that others would not necessarily gravitate to. I think that's also a big part of self love.
You're right. You're right. That's a very important part, because a lot of times we don't like to look at what we call the shadow side of us. We like to look at the good parts of us, like as a kind person, as a loyal person. But what are the dark sides of us? We all have them. We all possess them. So knowing that about yourself, knowing that this is where you need to do work, right? Accepting that about yourself, loving yourself in your darkness, like I know I could be short tempered sometimes. My kids will be the first to, yeah, so, you know, and when it happens, it happens. You know what I mean? So that's just me. I'm working on it.
How about you, Louis? Or you didn't respond?
I didn't respond, no, but it's interesting the terminology, the dark side. The minute I hear the dark side, I think about Darth Vader,
That's what Dark Vader was all about, Louis.
Dark side, yeah. No, but
That was
that's
what he
dope, though.
represented.
You did. I'm just saying that's dope. But I self love. You know my definition of self love and what it involves, but we're not gonna go there. What is self love? Everyone kind of pretty much touched on it. I mean, self awareness. I think accepting yourself as who you are in your authentic self and not trying to shadow that. Um, like Kira said, if you do have discrepancies within yourself or flaws, then of course you need to know what those are address them, see if, of course, you could perhaps, become a better person from those flaws or whatever. Or it could be something that you consider a flaw, but somebody may not consider a flaw. And it really all depends. But self love is definitely getting in tune with yourself and knowing who you are as an individual.
Well, I just, of course, everything everybody said. One of the things I know from for me, um, self love, I don't think was something that I paid much attention to in my 20s and in my 30s. Um, Although I'm still 30 something. But at this stage in life, I am truly learning that, because sometimes self love is confused with selfishness. And especially as a parent, I had to learn that just because I put me first does not mean I don't care about everybody else. But like everybody said, you have to love self first, and you have to embrace your good, your bad, everything that shapes you and makes you who you are. And I think that that is something really important that, younger people need to understand, um, that you truly have to love yourself. Someone coming into whatever you're bringing to the table is only supposed to enhance, but they're not supposed to make you, feel loved, And so that is definitely something I have learned over the years. And I hope that I'm imparting this on my children. Kiora is one of them. That you truly have to love self and embrace who you are. Some people are going to accept it, some people are not. If there's things that you do need to work on, then you work on those things. But at the end of the day, you're good, you're bad, you're indifferent, make you who you are. So that was definitely one of the things I wanted to discuss. When who in your life taught you about relationships?
I was going to ask that question.
Okay, go ahead.
No, but you asked that. That's the same question I was going to ask. Who was that significant person that made a difference in your life with regards to and taught you what relationships are? What is it like to be in a relationship? I think that's the question, right, Debbie?
Hmm.
Yeah. Who's that person in your life that taught you, that guided you in what it's like to be with someone and how to stay in a relationship, and what are the qualities to look for in an individual that you feel it's someone that you would want to be with in a relationship? It's kind of like a two-part question. Any one of you?
And it could, and the question could be good or bad, like, and you don't have to say names. I'm just,
No,
it's just
Right.
because
And it
I
doesn't.
would hope that you're learning good and bad, what you want, what you don't like, what you want to to show up in a relationship you have, and what you're not going to accept. As we had our conversation yesterday. But who impacted you the most when it comes to relationships, and what did you learn?
well, well, for me, I must say I grew up in a two-parent home. So my parents been together for longer than I have been alive, and what to say, their living room set is older than me and my sister put together. So like, um, yes, I learned love through them seeing what love is, seeing the discussions we would have, the compromise you make, and the how to say, just what it takes to love another person. At moments you may do things that you won't want to do, but you would settle in a certain direction for your partner. It's always a compromise. You have to. It's a balance. The scale is not too much good. It's not too much bad. But it's a balance between everything. And I would say my parents taught me that. I was looking at them, watching them grow up around them. I would say that's where I would say I learned that from.
Okay.
And then my own personal experiences with my relationships.
And did you show up the way that you were learning?
Uh, I showed up as a young. I tried it a little bit. I did it at first a little bit, and then my youth happened, and then the club nights happened, and then the partying happened, and then it all took its own role. But I would say I know what it takes. I just haven't found the discipline as yet to do that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. And how about you, Kiora?
I mean, I grew up in a good household. I mean, my it was my mom and my stepdad, and we never experienced the bad side of the relationship. Like growing up, we never saw that. We never. If you asked me growing up, I didn't even know they argued. Like that was a thing. But I mean, when they went through their divorce, we still didn't see the arguing side of it, but you know they were hurt, both of them. So that did affect my look on marriage, so to speak. Um, as far as relationships and like what I look for in somebody and how I look at relationships, like how they're supposed to function. I actually had a relationship in college that I always say that was a great relationship. Like if I was to do another relationship, I would want to find someone who treated me the way he did. Because even though we broke up, I mean, it wasn't like a big shebang. Like we went separate ways. And
So you
so,
broke up because you went separate. I was just about to ask you. It was nothing. You just
right,
time is over. You go one way, he go the next way, and that's it.
right, right.
I've
And
had that
so
type of relationship.
being, being able to be in a relationship like that where it really wasn't a lot of drama, it wasn't, we didn't have the cheating issues. Of course, we had issues, but it was a relationship where we could actually sit down and talk through our issues. And we had a partnership more so than just, oh, yeah, we're dating. So I think that really gave me an outlook on what I wanted in a relationship moving forward.
Cool. And how about you, Mr. Llanos?
I can answer that question too.
Yeah. Yeah. Why not?
I thought it was about the guest. What was the
It,
question
it
again?
is, but
Who's the
part of
person
this,
that was influential? Okay,
yeah.
so I think I mentioned this in the last show. My parents, for sure, they're still married. 57 years in October, so they've been together a long time. You see that you aim for that. Did I get that? No, I didn't get that. Of course not. I wasn't that fortunate.
You
I
have
don't
the
know
same
if
thing
I.
It jumps a
Huh?
generation. I think it jumps a generation every so often.
Yeah, and I just happen to be that one. Yeah, yeah, it skips. Sorry, yeah. Hopefully, my son will have a better chance at it than I would. Or my kids rather. But anyway, so yeah, they were definitely the ones. You see that, you strive for that, you strive for that type of relationship. But I have had quite a few experiences. I've learned a lot over the years. So to say that I have had one or two great ones. I mean, I've had a few. You've heard me talk about the great breakup, the great breakup. But all in all, that actual relationship was a very good relationship. That was a result of my wrongdoing, but it was a very good relationship. I mean, we really had good times, and we were really friends. And I think it's important to be friends in a relationship when you with somebody because to get
Truly.
in for other reasons, to get in for physical reasons, yeah, man, you really gotta know the person that you're with,
Lost
and that
boss.
and that takes time. That's one thing I want to mention too. That to be with someone, you gotta invest time. It ain't something that can just happen over a series of days or weeks. It takes time to do that to really get to know someone.
Cool.
Great.
Gina, you want to answer or no?
Yeah,
Uh,
Pinky.
where I learned about relationships, I guess through experience. My mom was a single mom, uh, and my grandfather died, so I was raised by my grandmother and my mom. So I learned about relationship through experiences. My experiences, first boyfriend when I was younger, that didn't go well. Second one right before college, that didn't go bad. I guess that was like a Kiora thing. We just went our separate ways when we went to college. It was no big deal. Never had no problems with that person. And then was married for a lot of years. So that's it.
Okay. Well, I know for me, I don't know necessarily. My mom had a lot of friends that were divorced, so I didn't like per se grow up seeing it. I had aunts and uncles that were married, but I wasn't really around them. So you saw it, but I didn't really necessarily experience relationship. But I have to say that the relationship that I've seen the longest, that taught me a lot, was actually my sister. She and Austin have been together for, I think this year is going to be 26 years. So, and again, relationships have their good, their bad, but like Louis said, at the end of the day, the two of them are each other's best friend. And I think that is definitely important. And of course, my marriage taught me things I don't want going forward. And that was 30 years of a relationship. So, and 25 years married. So, you learn. And then now, fortunate, I'm around a lot of people that have been together a long time. As you all may know, we already had Miss Edith and Mr. Leroy on, and they've been together this year, I think made 43 years. And they are amazing to be around. And again, they've had their ups and their downs, but at the end of the day, they are each other's best friend. They have each other's back. They are fun. And like Mr. Leroy said, when he need his space, he take his space. And when she want to do her stuff, she do her stuff. But I've been fortunate, I'd say, in the last 5 years to be around. I have another friend, Erica and Derek. Again, true friends at the core of them. So, I do have people, even at this stage in my life. And again, nobody has a perfect relationship, but they have the qualities of what makes a good relationship, and they're in it for the long haul.
Yeah, that's cool. I
Yeah.
Just to touch on that, the one thing is that I experienced in that same relationship I was talking about, the Great Big Cup. She enjoyed me for my silliness, so there was no judgment. There was no casting of any type of judgment on me at all. She accepted me for all my silliness, all my flaws, and it's just fun person to be around with. You know what I mean? When you could have somebody that you could just get all geeked up about and be with, it's a good thing. It's a good thing to find somebody like that.
I have seen a lot of good I've seen a lot of long-term relationships. So I have to say that.
Yeah.
To add to what you said, because I don't want to minimize, like I ain't never
Right.
been around long time. I mean, my friend Miss Paul, I think she was married for 30 something years before she became a widow, just like me. My other friends, I know a lot of people who've been married for 30 years. My older sister is in her marriage for, I would be 30, so she's like 27 years. She's been married, so I've seen a lot of long distance.
And your uncle and aunts?
My uncle and aunt, I've seen a lot. So they are around, but I don't claim people relationship because I don't know what happened behind closed doors.
Right.
Right.
So for me,
Right.
That's
I
a
just,
good time.
I don't know. I can only talk about my experiences, because not what you see on the outside, not to minimize what people or maximize or to put down anything. That's not what I'm trying to do. What I'm standing in the position of saying is I have no clue what happened in people relationships. So numbers and those kind of things, I guess I should watch them and say blah, blah, blah. I really don't, because all I could say is if you'd have been in a relationship for 20, 30, whatever years, you went through some crap. That's all I could tell you. You went through some stuff, you endured some stuff together, and you decided in the end that's what you want to do, is be with a person in the end. It's no simple formula to the whole thing. That's all I could add to that.
Correct.
True. That is true. For the millennials, well, I mean, this is for everybody, but do you think, or what kind of impact do you think social media has had on on the younger people and their perception of love and relationships?
Can't wait to get into that one.
Kara, you want me to?
Sure.
Yeah, go.
Social media, I think social media gives this picture of a relationship like what makes it so perfect is showering your other with gifts, and if you're not doing what all these Instagram or social media famous people are doing, then you're not in a real relationship and he don't love you if he don't buy you this and that. And then I also think social media makes it a lot easier for relationships to go bad. It it makes it kind of makes it like a competition, in my opinion. I feel like people will sit down and show off their relationship, this big relationship that they're so happy about, when in all actuality, they're not happy at all. And they would much rather sit down and put on this whole perception for social media about how they're living in this great big relationship than actually focus on their relationship. So I think social media is a distraction for most relationships.
Yep. How about you, Ranchi?
100% agree. Social media makes a relationship a competition between your friends and your family, and why if they're doing it, why you ain't doing it. Look what her boyfriend did for her. Why I can't get flowers? Why you ain't calling me all the time? Oh, look how lucky she is. It adds a whole ton of stress to a relationship that's not needed. You could have a good guy coming home, staying home, not even going to the bars, not even lying. Everything Kiara said is exactly what it is. You could have a good guy at home, but because that guy at home ain't doing what the guy on Facebook or on Instagram doing, and buying a car or flirting with all these fake gifts for social media, you gonna add stress and strain to the relationship because you want what you see it. For me right now, our problems with relationships and young relationships, it's patience. Nobody got patience and time to work towards something. They want it like that because on social media, it's like that. They got together today. 2 years later, they had a house. Oh my God, like why we ain't here?
Yeah.
So you adding strain. What you adding that strain for? I work in. I got different job than what you got.
Right, right.
You got
Okay,
different job than
calm
what
down,
she got.
Kika.
We
You
making
seem
different
like you
money.
want some
We live in a different
experiences.
society. You want to, but you want to have what they got. Oh, you get to buy a bicycle. I buy a bicycle. We go have a staycation by a villa. We go save up this money together. I mean, say like social media adds a ton of strain to a
We could
relationship.
tell. We could tell. It stressed you the heck out, Reggie.
Me, no, I like it because it's entertaining for me. I just laugh. I just do me. I don't study social media to that extent to try and keep up. If you don't like me the way I am, I'm sorry, but if you're gonna take me a certain amount of time to reach somewhere, that's the time you're gonna take me. I'm not stressing. I'm not worrying. I don't got a few gray hairs that I ain't necessarily needed to have right now, but I got them. But I'm very patient. I'm a patient guy. I'm willing to wait and write out whatever it is we have to write out together towards a goal that we both want. I don't need it today. Why do we need it today?
True. True. I guess like I never really thought about it in that aspect, the competition aspect. I guess I look at it
Well,
that, yeah, people
the
do.
bar is set high. I think that's what
Yeah.
you're referring to. So seeing a
Yeah.
lot of people doing stuff is like, well, what are you doing for me?
Right.
I think that's
Right.
what that
Yeah.
is.
And I understand, like I see it even with some of my like god children and stuff like that, that when they're in relationships, sometimes one or the both come off of social media because it does add a strain. And again, I never per se saw the competition portion of it. I just thought there was more like drama. You know, you're on social media, you're on Facebook, you're on something, this person contacting, somebody's in the DM. And so that adds another aspect to the relationship as well.
It
So
does. It does. It does.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, social media.
Oh gosh.
Yeah.
Dude,
Louis and
that
Pinky, do you
that
have
is
any
toxic.
thoughts?
It's toxic.
Louis,
Um,
of course.
of course, Pinky, well, you always gotta do that. Anyway, social media. Well, first of all, I don't know if it'd be considered social media, but I've expressed how I felt about texting. Right? Everybody
Yeah.
understand how I feel about texting. I don't like texting too much because I firmly believe in making a connection over the phone. I need to hear your voice, and you need to hear my voice because of pitch, tone, volume. Things that you say in a text, it carries more weight and has more effect when you hear my voice. So I ain't really into texting too heavy. Now, like Kira made a very valid point with regards to time is of the essence, and I get that. We're busy out there. I'm busy out there, so I can't send a phone. But just a little shout, hey, what's up? I'm thinking about you. How you doing? As opposed to texting, I could text that all day and I don't have no effect. But like Kira also mentioned, some people, because the younger generation probably are into the texting more than they are into receiving or into talking on the phone. I'm old school with it. I need to hear your voice. And also, I'm the type of person that need to be in presence also. Social media. Ranchi, I think, summed it up very well. I mean, as far as the
Right. He summed
expectation,
it up.
the
He hit on
expectations,
every area.
the expectations that social media put out there for people in relationships is setting these fake standards. I mean, come on, it's most of that stuff is not real. Most of that stuff is orchestrated. So I mean, you got to understand people, real life, real people, real things happen. We all have things going on in life. You might want to do something nice for your lady, and that's cool. I even had a chick one time. I was with a lady friend of mine, and we were out, and she's like, "Look, you want nobody, come and take a picture and then show your ex-wife." I'm like, "What do you? I was like, "Where did that come from? What are you talking about? We're just hanging out. We're not even together." So people think like that, that's another side where people could be out in public. You be with somebody, absolutely. I could have been with a cousin of mine that nobody knows and taking a picture of me and posting it. Like, that's crazy. That's social media. Again, the influence that social media has from a negative side.
Yeah,
So,
because two people can't go nowhere together. Well,
nice. No, we can't do
opposite
that
genders
anymore. That's
can't be nowhere together.
Well, they're gonna be taking pictures
Oh
of me
my
all over
gosh.
because I'm
Oh
gonna be
God, you
all
see
over
they
the
went to the
place.
beach together?
I'm gonna be
They're
all over the place.
dating. No, that's my
Yeah,
friend. That's my cousin. Like,
yeah,
she just flew in yesterday. We just chilling. Oh my God, they're in a relationship. I gotta tell you, girl,
yeah. No, it's
you need to
crazy.
see
It's crazy.
this. Social media is entertainment. It's like a whole movie.
Actually,
I find date nights. They should have a date night on social media where you could just go down and sit down and watch the mess. It's like, look at it. Look at that world. Beautiful.
it's funny when you're saying that because now I'm starting to think that maybe one of the conversations, like Louis says, we have to have a conversation. One of the conversations you have to have when you enter into, I don't know if it's at the dating stage or is at the stage when you decide that you're really gonna go forward with the relationship, that social media conversation needs to happen because what's acceptable, what's not acceptable, are we putting our business out there? You have to understand that we're not trying to, I mean, that obviously has to be a conversation now. Who's getting, I have a couple friends and they're married. And I noticed, like, I remember the first time I saw it, they have like, both of them share the same social media. So like the name is both their names. And I'm like, but now I understand because again, if somebody want to be in the DM, both husband and wife gonna get the DM. You know what I'm saying? And I never thought about it, but it's sort of a protection for the relationship as well. But this is part of what we're facing in 2021. And
Well,
I'm like, yeah.
someone asked Ranchi a question. How you feel about what if your lady comes to you and say, "Oh, let me see your phone"?
Who phone?
What's your face?
Who phone? My phone? No. Why doesn't want to see my phone? Why
Yeah,
exactly you want to see
that,
my
that
phone
seems to
and
be
your
a
phone
big.
is identical? So why
That,
does
that,
you want to see my phone and you can't see your phone? I'm curious. I just want to know.
Oh, God.
But
Kiara, how you
It's
again,
feel
but
about that?
identical.
again, but
You
again,
asked me to
Louis,
go through
I
my,
don't even,
my
I
personal
don't
stuff.
even. Yeah, but I don't even think that's like an age thing. I just think that's a relationship thing
Oh yeah,
That's
because
a
absolutely.
relationship
you
thing.
know, like
That's a
if
relationship thing, without a
you're
doubt.
like married or something, but I don't know if you're just dating someone if they
But
have the
even
right
but
to
even if you're
ask.
married, what's
Even
that?
if you're married, why would you need to go through my stuff?
Oh,
Why would you need to go through?
I like
Where's
Kiara
the
look. What
privacy?
Kiara look mean?
Where do I
Kiara,
have
what
my
I look
privacy?
mean? I gotta get to the bottom of that one.
Past experience. Some people are pathological liars.
Definitely.
I think there is always a point where you may just have to. Because, like,
Tell me
my
something.
last relationship, I went for like 6 months thinking we were living in paradise. And it was
You
actually
would.
a police officer that came to me and was like, you should check his phone.
It's always
And
police.
and
It's
that boy
always
ended
police.
up checking his phone and found out it was like 20 other women. It wasn't just one.
Ooh.
It was like 20.
But you were living in paradise.
I mean,
You were
because I
great.
was I was
You
oblivious to
were
everything.
great.
I wasn't asking to see no social media. I
But you
wasn't
were great.
asking to see my phone. We were living great. I had no
Exactly.
idea that
And there
in
comes
all
Satan.
honesty I was
And there
walking
came
around with like
Satan
a
and
condom.
poison the relationship.
I did not
Check his
poison the
phone.
relationship.
Check
I
his phone.
think I think the extracurricular activities may have poisoned the relationship.
Technically, no. Because he was in paradise. This was a great guy.
No,
He was
no.
amazing. You could have taken him
I
him back.
uh-uh.
He was the
No, he
greatest thing
really
ever.
wasn't amazing.
But
The lie
but
was amazing.
but you were in paradise. It had feel good.
Oh God, Ranchi.
You
Yes.
horrible.
That's why the name
That is
Ranchi.
not acceptable.
The name is Ranchi. The name is Ranchi. Look,
Live for
yes,
the moment. In other words, what you saying?
yes, you were living. It was good. Some people
Uh-uh.
know it takes time. Oh well, I'm gonna say guys. Okay, it depends on the guy you pick up. Most women, that guy everybody fantasize about, nobody don't really want that guy. That guy, he naughty, he weird. Oh my god, ew, che. We don't want it. The popular guy now has a flick of women trying, shooting the shot, flirting, whipping the hair. Oh my god, how you doing? I'm on the chest. Really? They're going to do all of that. So yes, he treated you amazing. He's treating you amazing. So you're like number one. But at the same time, he gotta find a way now to make sure you're number one before he deletes everything. And that does take a little bit. It'll take a little bit. I would think so for those guys. I don't do that.
Mm-mm.
Oh wait, let me interject here. Dr. Williams just said a lady's phone for Kiora. Dr. Williams has been married. I think they just made, is it 42 years? He just said a lady's phone, a man's phone, a lady's purse, a man's wallet should all be off limits. Everyone should enjoy a measure of privacy. Trust each other.
Very
I
well
That's
think
said.
right.
that would have been relevant had social media and the ease of cheating. Like it's so easy to cheat now. It's so easy to just decide you
Absolutely
need to
not.
pick up your
Actually,
phone.
it was worse before to cheat because you
What's
wouldn't
up?
know about it at all because you had no social media help. You had no friends to send you no
I
picture.
think it would be harder for you to cheat if you actually had to physically get up and leave your house and go see someone
Yes.
versus
Honey,
At the
you
same
honey,
time,
you
messaging
young,
you could
Instagram.
change the
Kiora,
time you
you
come home.
young, but in our generation that didn't have social media, believe me, they want faithful then, honey. They were
Oh
cheating left
man,
and right.
it
They
was
were
it was
cheating left and
much
right
it
'cause they
was
had more
much
time.
easier then. Much
They had
easier
more
then.
time. They had no tracking system. You go
Much
to
easier.
now what? From time
Mm-mm.
I leave the house and say bye, babe, that's it. You will hear from me until 7 o'clock at night, 8 o'clock at night, where I could come home and have a conversation with you. You don't know that I finished work 12 o'clock today and I was by the lady sleeping and we spent the day at the beach. You have no idea of none of this.
I don't think you should just pick up their phone and decide to go through it. Like how I said, for 6 months I didn't go through his phone. Why did I need to go through his phone?
Because
Like
the
I
policeman tell
never
you to do it.
felt there was a reason to. If I never got that, oh, you should probably look and see what's going on, I probably would have never.
But
Kira,
you, but
one
you see,
question.
Ranchi, I hear what you're saying. She was in paradise for 6 months. Okay, I hear what you're saying. I see what you're saying. But the thing is, Kiora, that was your inner voice. That was your female intuition telling you there is something going on that you needed to tap into.
It wasn't. The policeman tell her to do it. And I could bet the policeman was shooting his shot.
And the policeman was right.
The policeman was trying to get with you?
He was right. No.
He was trying to get with you? He wasn't flaunting you?
The thing is, I was never a part of social media. I wasn't a part of social media. I'm a part of social media for a year now. And there are good to social media and bad. Social media is about I call it staging, because when I make my post, I have to stage my stuff because that's my business. So I call it staging, and that's what we do. We stage what we want people to see, and photographers are, it's a for a moment, we smile and it's all well and done, right? And there are good parts to it because it allows us, for people like me who have a business, I mean, even Love and Enlightenment, we could use it for good things like we're doing right now. But then I have the dark side. Again, just like human beings got a dark side, dark Vader. Social media got a dark Vader side. The whole phone thing, that's an individual thing. I mean, I was married for years. I never touched my husband's phone. Intuition tell me one day, check social media, which I wasn't on, and find stuff on social media, which I was never on, didn't have a page or nothing. So instinct gonna tell you what to do. You follow your instinct. If you find something, you find something. I don't believe in checking through people's phone and stuff, but sometimes you do, because I mean, you could be 6 months in paradise. It could be a year in paradise. It could be 3 years. So in my case, it was what? I don't know, 10 years in paradise before I wake up. I don't know what the hell, but all I'm saying is there is a good side and a bad side to it all. If you have a relationship, I mean, I prefer not to be checking nobody's phone or nobody checking my phone. Vincent used to check my phone all the time. He used to go through my wallet. He used to say he cleaned my purse for me. I didn't care. He used to go through my wallet and stuff. I didn't care because I had nothing to hide. But then some people think that that's off limit, it's private, whatever. I mean, if you have a life and you have a life of integrity, like Debbie was talking, it doesn't matter. But that's up to the individual. If you don't want to go through people's phone, don't. But there is a good side and a bad side to social media. There's a good side and a bad side. Ranchi, I hear your perspective. I mean, you seem like you had some rough times on social media. It seemed like social media beat you up a little bit, man.
I was a social media, how to say, persona. I would post everything. Because when you open Facebook, it says what's on your mind. So I would post everything.
Literally what's on your mind.
Everything, don't matter who feel what. That it doesn't mean I going through that in my life. It doesn't mean what I'm posting is about me. I would just post it in general to see where the mindsets of everyone is. And it came a point where I stopped posting. I was just like, I ain't in the mood for just.
And that's like me. I highly
and everybody was like, "Oh my God, you and your girlfriend break up? You and your girlfriend break up?" I was like, "No, why would we break up?" But I ain't see how you posting so long. Like the post justifies that we're in a relationship. Like, really, that's what's going on. So it was like, if this is the case, I just stop posting altogether. I could care less about Facebook. Our relationship don't need to be on Facebook. Nobody need to see it, because if they seen it, that's the way of having a conversation about us that they need to be had. We together. We happy. We together. We together. I don't need to put you on Facebook for you to realize that we together. Are we happy? Like, we happy. We happy. I'm happy. I'm home. I ain't in Lyman. I ain't by the bars. I ain't on the block. I ain't chilling by the bars. I'm home. We have a family. I'm happy. Why do I need to post on Facebook that I'm happy for all to know?
But if when you got to people page, like when I first started on Facebook, I had to learn that there was a language to this Facebook thing. Like, I've been on Facebook, like sending messages, just innocent, like loving everything. People taking it the wrong way. Like, you could get in trouble. Like, you don't know what the hell you're doing on Facebook.
Right? Yeah. You gotta be careful with that. You gotta be careful with that. You can't be loving everything.
And Debbie would yell after me like, "Oh, Pinky, it's no big deal." I was like, "No, there is a language here." So you could go through the Facebook and you could tell when people break up and when people, you could tell this stuff. You know what I mean? And it's just what it is. It's the modern time. I hear what you're saying, Ranchi. I was like you. I was all innocent when I went on Facebook. Like, post what you want. I posted everything. Me thinking nothing of it. Me thinking nobody judging it. Now I kind of can't stand Facebook.
No, I know they're judging it.
To be honest with you.
I enjoy the entertainment. I enjoy to entertain. I like to entertain. So If you judge it, that's on you. What you get from it, that's on you. If it makes you feel
Yeah,
good,
your
if it
page is
makes you
very
feel
funny.
bad,
I like your
you can
page.
watch a movie and they're gonna make you feel sad. You can watch a movie, it's gonna make you laugh. You can watch a movie and you get upset, angry. I am the movie. So I'm going to give you whatever you want, and that's on you to feel however you want to feel about it. I know you're going to sleep good at night without any horrors. Like, I'm good. I'm good. How are you? But that's
Yeah.
social media
Social
is
media, my son.
Wow.
it is what it is there, my son. I
Crazy.
go the
Wow.
way.
And
Crazy.
it is affecting relationships. It is
It
affecting how we
does.
see relationships.
It
It's
does because
affecting how we see people.
it makes people question your partner.
You what?
It makes people question your partner. Like if your guy, let's say I'm your guy, and I'm posting all of this craziness on Facebook. Like Debbie's gonna jump up one day and be like, "But Pinky, what's going on with Ryan? Like, why would he be posting all of this?" And we gonna
You
jump up
said the
now.
government name.
He said it.
Go
He did
ahead.
say it.
Go ahead. Go
He said
ahead.
it.
Yeah, Louis gonna jump
I
up
picked
now,
that up.
jump in your inbox and be like, "But Pinks, you don't need a guy like that. Your guy can't be disrespecting you and that." Which is not. You know your guy just posting for posting sake. But Louis gonna jump in there and smooth up your head and hey, don't worry about that. You need a guy like me, and you're a cool, more calm guy and all kind of that crap.
No, I
That
won't say that. I won't say
I know you wouldn't say that, but they got a lot of guys. There's a lot of guys that would do that, and they would just try to get with your girl, and they don't need to do that. That's just so wrong. Get it?
Yeah,
But they got
yeah.
a lot
Sissy
of dudes out
wants
there like that. It's
Sissy wants to
questionable.
know if social media is bad for relationships.
No, it's not. It's a movie. Go on, laugh together. There's so much things on social media that's funny. There's so much insight
But
on social media.
you control what you put out there. So if you want to put, if you want to portray whatever it is you're trying to, whatever image it is you're trying to portray, then that's fine. When the backlash that you get from that, that's to be expected. You could get both negative and positive feedback.
Positive.
It's just
Exactly.
yeah, that's just how it is. I mean, people put stuff out there because they want people to see what they're doing. That's
Right.
it.
Good.
And again,
That's how social media is all about.
that's where you have the conversation together. You know what I'm saying? So that people can't come and
But
disrupt
it's
what you have going on.
and that's the thing. It's really it could be a good thing. It can be. I mean, especially if both of you together are in it and both of you agree, like you said, Debbie, having a conversation and putting things out together. But when you start to do things independently, and like Ranchi said, wait, no, Pinky going go in there, big time, like, what going on with your dude, man? What happened there? I mean, into your inbox, you get that. People start to question things because
Yep.
you might just post stuff just. I tell her I'm guilty of that. I have had stuff that I see and I'd be like, I can't. What going on with you? You all right? You see what you putting over there? Yeah, man, it's just a post. Cool.
I
Yeah,
think
but
People do that. But not
everybody don't
everybody.
perceive it as just a post, and
Exactly,
it's
Pinky. A lot of people don't. A lot of people see it differently, and I'm guilty of that. Like I said, I've seen stuff and be like, "Yo, you okay? You need somebody to talk to, man." Yeah, no, I'm telling you.
No,
Stuff like
I
that.
understand where you're coming from. I have gotten that already. Like, dude, you all right? Everything cool? Like, oh shucks, like everything safe. Are you still together? Are you good? Like, you need to talk to somebody. Like, dude, yo, I good. Like, I having fun. It's a
I mean,
it's a
it's
movie.
fun.
It's a movie. It's
It's
fun.
fun.
You just
I
gotta
mean,
live it.
you
Your
meet
life
your
is
old
your life. Your life
for
is your life. And social media, I would say, in a sense, it's not completely real. It's a movie. It's all entertainment. It's
mm.
all entertainment. No matter which angle you look at it at, it's some form of entertainment. Because your business is yours. Why your business out there? Why you telling me about your taxes? How much you make a month? All you putting out there is entertainment.
I
People
think
put
with
that.
social media, if both people actually love, like have self love, love themselves, and they truly love each other, then social media wouldn't be an issue. I
It
think
Right.
shouldn't.
social media becomes an issue when you start looking at what everybody else is doing and comparing it to your relationship, or if you use social media as a gateway to go and look for sympathy or go and try to communicate with other people where you think your relationship is lacking as opposed to try to fix your relationship. So I really think it's based on your relationship and the people in the relationship.
That's well said, Kiara.
So
Very,
if I
very, very
lost a
well said. Very
relationship,
well.
I would get
Voice,
messages all the time like,
voice of reason.
look at what these people are doing. Why we
Here it,
not?
here it is. We got a young generation keeping us stable. Because
And for the older generation, for us, I mean, I ain't been around, don't have long-term relationships like we did. So for us who ain't see me talk to people for 20, 30 years, like
way to connect.
that's when I went on social media. Like to me, it was like cool. I was like, wow, I didn't even know these people still alive. And so that was really good to, and I like that.
Yeah.
Some people, yeah. So
I mean, at the end of the day, it can be used for what it should be. I know when I first went on Facebook, it was actually because our family was getting ready to have a family reunion, and that's how I got on Facebook, so that I could stay in touch with my cousins that were all over. So again, everybody uses it for different things, and again, knowing your partner and if they are someone that likes to be humorous and puts all kind of crazy stuff, it really, and like you said, if you're confident in your relationship, yeah, and you're confident in your relationship, it shouldn't have an effect. But again, there's also a part of it too that I think that some of your relationships should be private, and everybody doesn't have to be privy to it, because then you are opening yourself and your relationship to scrutiny and to people trying to jump in
Ridicule
people's
and
DM because they
everything.
think something's going on. So I think that's another thing. And again, that's a conversation that you have within the relationship, so that going forward you don't have problems, and where each other is or stands on how they're going to use the social media, or how it's going to affect your relationship.
Maybe
People kind of brought something up here. Oh, you go ahead. You saying something,
I
Louise?
just wanted to ask you if you were going to mention or maybe talk about some commentary, but you can go ahead.
Yeah, we did have some just now. Dr. Williams, it was lengthy. Dr. Williams was saying your private business should not be on the book. There's so many other things to tap into. I post pics of nature, current events, and humor. Narcisse said people judge, stalk, overanalyze, speculate, track, while some people use social media as a marketing tool and access tool to stay in touch with family and friends. Nicole said, Narcisse, I think we should look at it as protecting the privacy of others and not see it as your partner hiding anything from you. I have some private conversations with men or women. If I'm in a relationship, I do not find it fair to the person that conversation can be read by my partner. It's not solely about me, but it's about the privacy of others in contact with me. I think we should look at it from another's point of view. Just my opinion.
Good job, Nicole.
yeah.
Just for anybody who's looking, that's his sister. And Narcisse said back to Nicole, absolutely love your opinion and don't disagree with you. We do what works for us. Look at it this way. If you get into an accident while in the car with your man and he's bleeding to death and your phone is dead, but his is charged 100%, how would you feel knowing you can't open it? It's not always about privacy and cheating.
What?
Access in case of emergencies. What if he dies, God forbid? How will you access his loved ones feeling?
Every phone has access to 911, even if you could always access 911 when a phone is locked. Ranchi, is that what you're saying?
You couldn't make a call with the phone being locked.
911, yes, you
You
can.
could dial an emergency number, yes.
Yes, you can.
All accessible.
But I mean, her point is valid, and as well, everybody's point's valid, because at the end of the day, you should be able to have your own privacy, and there's obviously a breakdown in a relationship if you feel like you have to go through, or there's some sort of flaw or something you need to work on if you feel like you need to go through somebody's phone or social media, whatever. But again, that's people deal with that how they want to.
Narcisse analogy might sound far-fetched. Like everybody's like, you could die. But let me tell you, I had that experience before. Amen. So do not take these things for granted when you hear them and minimize and think, I've had that experience. I've been in California and I needed access to the phone because my phone break and I couldn't get access to the phone because the phone stuff was off limits to me. And it's still, and I let it go. You let it go because you should, whatever. Who gonna fight for that? Nobody gonna fight for that. I ain't gonna fight for it. But at the end, you got to know when you can't touch a person phone and you can't gain a person phone when you is something hiding. You gotta know that. Am I wrong to believe that?
Why do you
No.
think that they're hiding
Nobody.
something? Go ahead.
Louis.
I'm just asking. I'm saying.
Never have this is all I'm
Yeah, but
saying to you is
even when we were in New York with Vincent, so yeah, this is factual stuff that happens, and you can have an emergency, and you
Well, I
don't
had that.
know.
I experienced the same thing. You guys know what I'm talking about with my
Right.
experience. I
Right.
had that same issue.
Yeah, and even like my daughter, my one daughter Deja, we always I have her if there's ever an emergency, I can get into her phone. If there's an emergency, she can get into mine. My cousin. So it's not even just the relationship, but yeah, things like that. I'm authorized on his phone in case there's an emergency. So you do need to have someone who is able to get in case of something. But in terms of the relationship, you just hope that if you had to, you could. But it's not something that you should necessarily be thinking you have to go through somebody's phone. And but it is
everybody have a right to their privacy. So
true.
everybody have a right to their privacy. Everybody have a right to have whatever conversations and relationships they want to have. But
Correct.
if you're in a committed relationship, if you're in a long-term relationship, if you're in a marriage, anyway, I don't know.
And the thing is,
I did
the
not have
relationship
access to
between
my
two
late
people,
husband's phone.
the
at all.
relationship between two people as friends, you might be having a innocent conversation, but the way you guys speak to each other might come off as something that's really not happening. So as a tall person picking up a phone, reading that conversation, you can say, "Oh, but that's what you're the crowd." But none of that is actually happening. It's just a relationship between those two people. That's how they're conversing with each other. That don't mean necessarily that they're in something together. But yeah, put on the phones. Leave the people on the phone alone.
Leave the people on phone alone. Leave the people on DM alone. Don't get involved. Stay away, Kiora. Stay away, Pinky. Like,
I'm
you
listening to
find
the
these things
policeman.
Stay
out,
away from
your
them.
paradise ends, right? Paradise
If you
comes
have to
up.
check the phone, that just means you have to stay away from them.
Stay away. If you want
Yeah.
to stay in paradise, like Ranchi said, do not check the phone.
Yeah.
Right, Ranchi? That's your
You're
advice.
oblivious to everything. I hope
Okay.
you don't check anything down the way.
or check emails, especially if you're on a trip somewhere together.
Oh yeah, like our last post. One of the things that we also were wanted to ask is, do you think that your generation has a fear of long-term relationships and marriage?
I would say no.
What was that? I missed that.
I on the generational end. Personally, I've been in two relationships. Um, one started when I was 14, that lasted 10 years, and the other lasted 7 years, which was about when I was 25 or something like that, 24, 25, 25, 25.
What was
Yeah.
the question, Debbie?
I was asking if their generation has a fear of long-term relationships
Oh,
and marriage.
Yeah. So I've been in long-term relationships and I've learned a lot from them. I would was technically like accepting of marriage in both, but in the first relationship that just went sour. On my end, I just did some, yeah, I was a guy. And then in the second relationship, there was I would say patience, a lack of patience for things to, how to say, bloom or come to life. Well, I don't think it's a fear of marriage. I think everybody's actually looking for that. But the patience is a problem. A lot of people in our generation lack patience to deal with somebody, to wait to get what they want. And it's basically like the same thing what we were talking about with social media, everybody advertising this thing on such a pace, fast, or speed, where everybody's just getting it. So if you're at home and you're not getting what it is you want or what you're seeing that you want, that you envision from your plan that, oh, when I'm 30, I'm supposed to be here in my life, or when I'm 35, or when I'm 40. But to me, even when you're 50 years old and you get your first house, you just got a house. So it's like, I feel patience is a problem with our generation compared to your guys' generation.
Mm. Okay. And how about you, Kiora?
I don't think there's a fear of marriage and long-term relationships in my generation. I feel like a lot of people in my generation are getting married, especially recently. I have seen a lot of weddings happening within my generation recently. And this somebody in a comment touched on it for sure. I think it's maturity. There is a lack of maturity in my relationship, in my generation.
Well,
I
you
Mm-hmm.
said
think
a lack of.
maturity.
There's a lack of maturity. Okay.
Yeah, I think a lot of people get into relationships because they think that person is attractive, or they think that person is popular, or
Mm.
that person is in a great place in their life. I don't
Right.
think people get into relationships looking for their other half, like their best friend. And I think that's what leads to a lot of relationships ending on a bad note. It's not necessarily the fear of commitment. I think it's not knowing what to commit to. Like, yeah, I might get with you because I think you're attractive and you go in someplace in life, but that don't mean we're compatible. And so we're never going to work if we're not compatible outside of, hey, I like to see you.
Right.
Truth.
Sure.
That's good stuff, Kira. You're not fired tonight, man. That's good stuff.
Thank you.
Oh, oh,
Crazy
man.
on people.
Yeah.
Yes.
I think I think what's happening to our generation, and I could be very wrong about it, is that you've seen so much. To me, all this knowledge that we have now today, I really don't see relationships that much different than it was in our time. But I have so much more knowledge, so much more access to so much more. And I mean, the failure rate of divorce is what, over 50%? You've experienced some things personally, you've seen some things personally. Whereas in our days, that was the thing to do, like long-term relationships, because hookup culture, if it did exist, it wasn't announced. Like a lady had to be a certain way, she had to present her a certain way in society. So as a woman, you had to think about marriage, like, and if you weren't married, you were gonna be called all kind of Spencer and all kind of crap. You know what I mean? So it just now in our generation, I have so much more information. I have so much more to analyze about marriages and stuff like that. Some people is like, why do that? Other people is like, sure, let's go ahead with the old traditional way. I think again, it's an individual thing. Um, but you have so much access. Women are doing so well in the world. Men are doing well in the world that it's not a necessity like it was years ago. And that's just the change. That's all. It's just a different world. It's just a different time.
Yeah, I agree with Pinky. Accessibility or having access to information, being in an information ready world that we live in now. Again, going back to social media, it's definitely you guys have all the information. Back when in our days, certain things were taboo. Certain things, we had censorship. Now you don't have much as far as censorship. Everything is available, so you have access to see what we couldn't see back then. Or I mean, not that we couldn't see, but that we didn't have the easy access like the generation now that they have. So and that could be a lot of things. And when I say censorship, I mean even with media, music, anything, is available. And so to say fear of commitment, or fear of marriage, Corey, you mentioned that you've seen a lot of younger folks doing it now. When I was coming up, I can't say I had a fear. For me just wasn't I wasn't ready. I had overlapping relationships actually when I was coming up. So I just wasn't ready. Whereas now, like you're saying, you've seen a lot of younger folks, and you would see them posting it ironically on social media. You know what I mean? We talked about that on social media, how people put stuff out. But you see a lot of people putting the weddings out there, and kudos to them, congratulations to them.
I
But
find a lot of it is also
Is what?
Forced. I
Forced?
find, yeah, I
Well,
find a lot of
Kira said it
marriages.
best. She's like, a lot of stuff could be not necessarily for. It's not really. Or well,
Genuine.
I like to use the word organic. And you guys know that it's not real.
Yeah.
Exactly. It's the happiness
It has to
isn't
be
real.
genuine.
I don't
Yeah.
know that. We don't know that, but it has appearance to be just for what it is. Social media for the public. You
Correct.
know. I
Yeah,
mean,
because
I
it
don't
looks
know.
good. And
Yeah.
instead of like, what
But
people got
we don't.
married,
But
the
we don't
reasons
know
people
that.
got
We
married.
don't know what people. We don't know that. We don't know their lives. We don't know what they're going through, what they've gone through, to get to that point. And hopefully, I hope people take vows seriously. You know, what I mean, and I hope it's real.
True.
The way the divorce rate set up right now, I don't think people are taking
You're right
divorce.
about that.
No,
You're
we
absolutely right about.
really don't when we take a good look at it. Like
No,
we really don't take
You're
a
I
right.
find
You're
I
right.
find there's even in marriage there's separation without divorce, where you take a break and get grounds with yourself again and realize why you're in love with your partner. But right now, I think people are so treating marriage like it's a boyfriend girlfriend. Like I tired of you, I tired of this, we done. Like it's over. Like why?
you,
We
you know,
married, we took vows to end. We're going to the end together. So let's go to the end. Yes, you're gonna have hurdles. No journey is fun straight. If you climb in a cliff and you can't make it up the cliff in that road, you have to go around. You're gonna find another way. So find another way in marriage. Why is it that you're looking to quit and walk back down the hill? That's a long way back down.
but
You're
but
almost to
but
the
but
top.
the thing about marriage, Ranchi, the thing about marriage is that it takes two. And no
Definitely.
matter how much you want to go around the mountain, if your partner isn't willing to go around, and that this is the information. It is both. Cassisi asked if it's information or knowledge. I think it's both that your generation have. You have the knowledge and you have the information. I mean, we could study anything in its entirety. Jesus, right?
Take
But
your
the
time.
thing
Thank you,
is,
Karen. Love it.
Take your time.
marriage
Breathe.
takes two people. So one person may be willing to go around the mountain, go up Everest, and come back down Everest. It doesn't matter if the two people ain't willing to do it together. And that's not just marriage, that's just relationship.
That's
And
relationship, yeah.
Karen said that it's a tolerance level. It truly is a tolerance level. And unfortunately, our generation, the microwave generation,
We have
it's
low tolerance.
different for you guys because
Yeah.
life has become easier, and not to minimize hardship or what I have to go through, right? Like you getting your masters. When we were getting our degrees years ago, we had to go to the library, take out a whole heap of books, sit and read them goddamn books. We had to do so much. We had to start this research so long in advance. Now I just go on the computer, you just pull up thing, you just sit and read. You didn't even got to leave your house. We had to go. We used to be in the library for hours. It was dreadful with this much book studying, like dreadful. So your life is so much easier now. It's the same thing with the relationship, right? Because out of what we had to put in to get one paper done, your generation now, why I got pop with this? I got a job, I got money, I got this, I got that, I got. Why? It takes a decision and it takes a commitment to the person. Like, is this what we want? If we don't want it, you could go up Mount Everest. You're
I think
cold, you're probably going to
I
freeze to
feel
death up
I
there
also
because
I also truly
But
believe when people
Pinky says
reach that point because they genuinely wasn't in it for the right reasons.
exactly.
Pinky just said Pinky
If
hit
I
on
didn't
something.
truly love you the way I love you, because it's always something you just give up, you just sacrifice. Or you'd say, hey, you're not gonna settle for this. Like we talked yesterday. I like toes, but her toes ain't not look she toes ain't look so good. But you're not gonna accept that. But 15, 20 years down the line, you realize that I can't stand to look at this girl's foot. And she always walk around here with she foot on the ground and putting it up on the table and want me ripping up your bed sheets and again.
She like
Then
to
you
go
get
in the
frustrated.
garden with her
Then you
foot with her
realize
shoes
why I
on.
really didn't like this girl and I jumped into this for the wrong reason. Shit, we're here. We need to get out.
But Pinky said something. Is that what they really want? Do they really want to get into these relationships, and that's important. I mean,
And I
do they
think,
actually?
But Kiara said it too. Kiara said it too.
yeah,
They're getting together because of how people look. They're getting
Look,
together
Right.
because of what this person's doing in life. But the real friendship, there's no friendship. This is
but
about the look.
appearance, but looks is important because I have to look at you.
uh,
No matter what, I have to look at you. I have to love the way you look. Every pot guide cover. Just because you like somebody, that don't mean they need to like you. Every
I
pot has its cover, and if we don't match, it might cover can't close your cover your pot. The sun ain't gonna work out. Ain't gonna leak
But
out.
see, Doranchi, you coming from a very wise perspective because that is the problem. We don't try to make our cover fit every pot, and it just don't fit,
It don't work
right?
like
And
that.
because you're
Exactly.
married, I mean, you could go into marriage for the wrong reasons. We get married very young. I mean, I was with Vince from the time I was 18. I didn't have the answers, right? But on the journey together, you have to figure it out, right? Our generation, we figured it out for all kind of reasons, money reasons, children reasons, whatever. But our generation different because things are more accessible to you guys,
Technically,
and this
no.
makes it harder.
I think
Technically,
my
no.
generation takes independence very, very strong. Because
Yes,
Yes,
because
the women do.
independence is a protection.
relationships, I
Yeah.
think if you look at jobs, I feel like my generation, a lot of them would rather work for themselves as opposed to working for somebody else, you know. Relationships, I agree with what Miss Pinky said, you know. You point me through hell and back when I could do all of this for myself. Like, there's nothing that I actually need from you. So why would I stay if you gonna put me through all of this?
We
You
don't
don't have
have
to.
to today.
You don't
And
have to.
independence is a protection too. And we learned this from the failed relationships. We learned this from Ranchi said it last night. If you in an abusive marriage or abusive relationship and you separated from your entire family, it's all rain. He gonna abuse the hell out of you because there's nothing going to stop him. If you financially or her, if you financially dependent on this person, right? So what is the best course? We taught I be independent, stand on your feet. That's why I teach my girls, don't depend on nobody.
So
You
mommy,
need to do what you gotta do for yourself, right? So this is why they don't last. Because years ago, women couldn't leave, we couldn't leave. In certain countries, women still can't leave, right? We gotta remember that. And their divorce rate is very low.
Yeah, because they can't live.
You can't
Because
leave.
that's a Billy
And
Yeah.
Jones.
actually, that's one of the things I'm glad you brought that up, Pinky, because we did discuss that yesterday. That Ryan brought up, and it was an interesting fact that um, we were saying, and I was saying that I'm wondering if some of the breakdown with some relationships has to do with the fact that people are so independent of their families, of their village, of their support system. And that in of itself creates added problems for relationships because you don't have that support system for all sorts of reasons, and we talked about not that your family is involved in your marriage, involved in your relationship, but they are there to offer support because we're independent of families, and that I'm sure has to be having a dynamic. I mean, I just think about me, like, when I was married, my mom passed away when I was 22. My dad was living in St. Martin. I didn't have, my mom's family's from St. Thomas. I didn't have family. So it was me and me alone. And my sister was away some of the time. That was it. It's me and my children. I didn't have a support system. And now, when I look back, I am sure, number one, if my mom was alive, things would have been a whole lot different. And if I had a support system there, my marriage would have been different. It would have either ended sooner, or I just think I would have been treated differently because people knew I had a support system there. So I think that's something that even this pandemic should kind of teach us about when we say we want to go away from family, that can have an effect on relationships as well.
Yeah.
I was looking at some of the comments. Um, Ivy wrote, you have to become aware that if you want to be forgiven, you have to be able to forgive. And that doesn't just apply to apologizing for our wrongdoing, but that we are all imperfect and have to have tolerance and acceptance that others are too. It's not about the right or wrong or win or lose. It's about, is this issue setting the world on fire? If not, let it go.
Amen.
Yeah, that was a big
Amen.
And then Karen also said, and people are now required to come to the table with more than, let's say, crackers and water. And that lame cat whistle ain't catching a turn around. Cece said, independence and freedom are new levels of self-responsibilities. Ivy also said, true, but sometimes family can be your undoing as well. And we talked about that as well. Because it's about being a support, but not being involved in the relationship, you know? At the end of the day,
there's the flip side to that too, but we ain't gonna go there.
Right, exactly. So
you know,
there is pluses and minuses.
When they do get involved, that's a whole different.
Kima just said dudes were afraid of her mother. Let me tell you, Vincent, my mother threatened Vincent. Threatened he. She ain't had no clothes either when she threatened me. Okay, that's how serious my mother was. She was a big woman. Yeah, Ranchi. Oh yeah. And Vincent was a big guy. Vincent was 6'4", right? And he was like, at the time he was like he was like, I don't know, over 250. And my mother's a little woman. She was about 5'5", 5'4", I don't know. And she went to him and she said, if you ever touch my daughter, and guess what? That man never touched me. And my mother, he was afraid of my mother. So, Kima, I hear what you're saying. You hear? We need the family support, but then the family needs to know their place.
Correct.
And that was always it. Everybody, I would believe everybody was brought up that way, would know that going into a relationship or taught that from your family, that yes, your family is there for you. Or even when you're getting married, it is the pastor is saying your family is there for your support, but they should not be in your relationship. The only person that's supposed to be in that relationship is God. A person that both of you could go to speak to. That's it. No outside parties. But to be solely dependent today with somebody, solely dependent on that person, whether it's for monies, whether it's for whatever, and you only got dependent, this person could abuse you. Physically, this person could abuse you. Emotionally, this person could abuse you. All kind of way. But if you know you got family around, that person ain't going, how to say, be so easy to move around and do stupidness. They ain't gonna threaten you like that. They ain't gonna put their hands on you because, hey, boy, this girl got cousin there, boy, this man gonna lose his mind and kill me, man. I ain't gonna try that one. You know, I can argue with her, but let me get out of this house and go from here, spend a day in a hotel or something, and we'll come back and talk about it. Like two adults, and maybe I'm sorry. Okay, I went wrong here, you went wrong there. We're gonna settle it like this, boom, bam. Let's go lunch or something. You know, kill it in the end of the world.
That's actually one of the things that I really admire of my family in St. Martin, because y'all are very close knit. And that is truly a blessing, that everybody is there, you know, in close proximity to each other, and it's a big family. But we didn't, unfortunately, we were in St. Croix, so we didn't get that. Before, we only have a couple more minutes, and like we said, we're going to do a part 2 because I knew we weren't going to be able to get to everything. But I just kind of wanted to quickly touch on. Do you two know about, like, they consider the hookup culture?
Here, Karen want to marry Ranchi. Karen ready to marry?
Karen is single, you know. Karen is single, you know.
Oh God. Oh well, actually, we won't, because we only have 5 minutes. But I do want to talk about the hookup culture, and if it's something that seems to be more desirable, or it's something that, again, I know that Kiora, you said that you have seen a lot of people getting into marriages, and Ryan, you've been in long-term relationships, but do you think that the hookup culture, and we're not gonna go into it, but just keep this in mind, has become like a thing? I think part of it is that we're living in a world where a lot of things are acceptable. in my time, people did stuff, but they did it behind closed doors. It wasn't talked about. Now it's like there's no holds barred. Anything.
Or Debbie, they didn't do it at all because it was not acceptable.
That too. That
Oh,
too.
yeah.
That too.
I would say the hookup culture popping
Wait,
now.
wait. Don't
It's
answer.
arbitrary.
Don't answer. Everybody got to come back next week.
It wasn't acceptable to whom?
It wasn't
Everybody gotta-
accepted by society. It wasn't accepted by your family. I mean, we as women, we were raised a certain way. I mean, that's just how it was.
And men were also, I guess.
Not really. Sorry.
Yeah, men were.
Not by your parents, by the streets.
Because remember, we talked about that on another show. We talked about when you were a younger male and they post you and they tell you, listen, you gotta be with all these, you can't have these.
Right.
So we
Right.
talked about that on a different
But
show.
it's the same thing today.
Who says that?
And the same
That's your
guys,
opinion?
are you teaching guys to be monogamous these days and just be with one mate for the rest of their
No,
life?
that don't happen.
Exactly. And
Even
it
if-
didn't happen
even
years
if
ago
you-
either.
But even if you do, that don't necessarily happen.
It don't happen.
And that don't happen. And that don't happen with. And that don't
It's
happen
never
with women
taught.
either. And that
I
don't happen
would
with
tell
women either.
everybody to live. Live until you're 25.
That don't happen with
After
women
that, you
either.
should know what you want. If you were one person, you would
But
never know what you want coming out of school
We're
or whatever.
gonna
You don't
talk
know
about
what
that
sex
next.
is.
We're gonna talk
You don't know
about that
what
next.
love is. You don't know what it is to stay committed. You don't know what it is to have an argument and not fight. You don't know what it is. You need to explore, and explore.
But Ranchi, isn't that the problem that are you facing today? This
No.
exploration, there's so
No.
much. Let me tell
No.
you, if
The problem
you're
today
hungry, if you're hungry and you're given a cracker every single day, you're gonna eat the cracker and you'll be satisfied. If you're hungry and you're given a whole frigging buffet after buffet after buffet, you know what you're gonna expect? You're gonna expect a buffet. So
No.
at the end of the day,
know
that is
what
the
gonna happen?
problem.
You know what
All of
happened?
this variety, all of this color.
But look at that. You use a buffet, right? But if you go buffet every day, you're going to swell up like a pig. The girls don't even want a pig. They're going to be too big. They want that. They want that. They want the cookie
I
thing.
think-
But at the same time, you can't dirty your mouth with everything. At the same time, you can't dirty your mouth with everything.
Oh my
So
God.
There's a limit. There's still a level to it. Yes, they must explore. They have to explore. The problem today,
Too much damn exploration is what getting I in
all the
trouble.
heads still exploring.
Look,
Wait, Pinky. No, we're gonna end this because we're gonna make everybody have to come back next week. But listen, and you just write it down. You know you'll be forgetting. I'm gonna end this by
my
saying,
one comment on hookup culture
All right, let Kira.
before we run off.
go ahead.
I have one friend who calls her hookup her maintenance man. And so I definitely agree with Ranchi. You may not be ready to settle down and be in a relationship. You still working on yourself, but everybody needs maintenance.
Everybody need a fix. That's right.
Right.
It's hookup culture. Everybody needs their
Pinky, what do you think about that? You need maintenance?
Everybody need a
Everybody need
fix.
maintenance, Pinky.
excuse me?
Everybody
listen,
need maintenance.
listen. I just before
Really, Louis. Thank
That's
you
what they're
very much.
saying. That's what they're saying.
I'm gonna eat my cracker and I'm
That's what
gonna
they're saying.
Okay, but
We-
listen.
I'm gonna eat my crackers.
I
Leave
want-
me
I
alone.
want
Let me eat
to
my
end
crackers in
this.
peace.
I want to end this by saying, Ryan, Karen says she's sending you the ring for your pretend marriage tomorrow.
I'm ready for it.
Okay?
Wow,
Okay.
I want a piece of cake. I want a piece of cake.
Don't worry,
Well-
I got a lot of cake emojis on this thing I sent to you.
Well, I want to thank you guys again so much for deciding to have these conversations with us, because like I tell everybody all the time, this group was formed to have conversations, men and women, nobody professionals. This is our, your perspective, your experience, your point of, your opinion. But at the end of the day, this is about creating a legacy for those behind of us and those coming up. And so if we don't involve you all in the conversation, then it was for nothing. So I want to thank you guys for being here tonight. Like I tell everybody, we're going to have part 2. Part 2 might be even juicier. So you need to invite your friends and family. Again, we have the Love and Enlightenment USVI YouTube channel, and invite your friends to the group. and so that you can be along in the conversation. If you have questions you might want us to ask for next week, definitely put them in the comments. And again, I want to thank all of our members who have been commenting all night. We've had wonderful comments. And I thank you, Ryan, because you said it, and Kiora, for joining us tonight. Okay?
Definitely want to say thanks to both of you. You guys were definitely on fire tonight. Beautiful commentary. Very, very well insight from your generation. And definitely, we're going to pick up this conversation. We're going to start with a hookup culture next week. We definitely going to start with that. So
we're
don't
gonna
forget.
start with the hookup, but we starting with this exploration. Cause like I ready to knock you off the box, Ranchy.
So anyway. So remember to tell your friends. Everyone. YouTube, Love and Enlightenment USVI. Make sure you let everyone know. And we just want to thank again to Kiora and Ranchi. Wishing all of the viewers good things, great things, beautiful things.
And before I go, I want to wish all the mothers happy Mother's Day.
Indeed.
On Sunday, even though Mother's Day should be every day. And I hope you all are safe. I hope you all are treated well and spoiled. And even the ones that are not mothers, but that are mentors and aunts to their family and friends. Okay. But I want to wish everybody a happy Mother's Day for Sunday. Everybody take care, be well, be safe, and we will see you all back here next week.
Thanks you for calling me out, Louis. Thank you.
Anytime. None but love.
See you guys.